For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. President Donald Trump's tariffs on goods from nearly 100 nations went into effect today. The new taxes are at a level not seen in nearly 100 years since the Great Depression and will have U.S. consumers paying more, an average of 18.3% more for imported products, the highest rate since 1934, according to the Budget Lab at Yale, a nonpartisan policy research center. Tariffs have already generated some $100 billion in revenue, mostly from consumer increases in prices. More than 60 nations in the European Union will face tariff rates of 10% or higher. Products from the EU, Japan, and South Korea are taxed at 15%. Imports from Taiwan, Vietnam, and Bangladesh are taxed at 20%. Trump signed an executive order Wednesday to place an additional 25% tariff on India for its purchases of Russian oil, bringing the combined Indian tariffs to 50% that goes in effect later this month. Overall tariffs will affect more than half of Indian exports to the U.S., including prices of pharmaceutical drugs, precious stones, textiles, and apparel. Brazil faces one of the stiffest tariffs, 50%, widely considered retaliation for the prosecution of Trump ally, former President Jair Bolsonaro, for trying to overturn his election loss in the nation and an assassination plan of current President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. He's now on house arrest. Trump Wednesday said he plans to put a 100% tariff on computer chips, likely raising costs of electronics, automobiles, and household appliances. Trump said computer companies that make chips in the U.S. would be exempt. Wednesday, he announced a $500 billion investment in the U.S. from Apple. The White House says its tariffs will drive businesses to ramp up new investments and jumpstart hiring in the U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance meets with Indiana's governor today to discuss redrawing the state's congressional maps to give Republicans more seats in Congress in the midterm elections to keep their grip on power. This after Texas Democrats continue their out-of-state protest against Texas's redistricting efforts called for by President Trump. Democratic states are vowing to fight fire with fire. Christopher Martinez reports.
Some of the Texas lawmakers who left the state had to evacuate their hotel in Illinois after a bomb threat was called in.
We are safe and we are undeterred.
Texas State Representative Ann Johnson was one of the Democrats in the hotel. She spoke to CBS News, saying the Democrats continue to experience threats and harassment.
Trump's afraid of the voters. He asked Governor Abbott to steal him 5 seats. None of this is American. All of this sounds like a dictator desperate to hold on to his power.
The Texas Democrats say the redistricting plan is not just a Texas problem, but a problem for the entire country. State Senator Boris Miles is also now in Boston.
After Texas, it will be your state. After your state, it'll be this entire country.
The Trump administration is urging the governor of Missouri to call a special session to redistrict its congressional map to favor Republicans, while Democratic states are considering their own redistricting moves in states like New York and Maryland. In California, Gavin Newsom is setting in motion a November ballot referendum to redraw congressional districts.
We're working with the legislature on a trigger that if they do move forward, California will not sit by idly and watch this democracy waste away.
I'm Christopher Martinez.
President Trump posted on Truth Social he's instructed the Commerce Department to change the way the Census Bureau operates and tallies the population to exclude undocumented immigrants. That could also sway how many congressional districts are allotted to each state. Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet with President Trump in the coming days. The announcement comes a day after U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff met with Putin to press for an end to Russia's war in Ukraine. No word on whether there would be a trilateral meeting between Putin, the U.S., and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. The Israeli Security Cabinet meets tonight to discuss expanding military operations throughout the Gaza Strip. Demonstrations are planned across Israel to protest the expansion. FSN's Blake Sifton has more.
The plan would reportedly proceed in stages over 5 months and would displace approximately 1 million Palestinians from Gaza City and camps in the central region amid widespread starvation in the Strip. The chief of staff of the Israeli military, Eyal Zamir, is said to oppose the plan, and military officials reportedly fear that it could risk the lives of Israeli hostages and could lead to heavy casualties among Israeli soldiers.
That's Blake Sifton reporting. Families of Israeli hostages held in Gaza boarded 14 boats bound for Gaza today to protest Israel's continued war and demand the return of hostages.
We want the world to help us make Netanyahu stop it. We want to end the war and get a hostage deal.
Meanwhile, Doctors Without Borders is joining the call for the dismantling of the U.S. Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation as providing aid to starving Palestinians. Its distribution centers have been called death traps as Israeli forces have shot and killed some 1,200 Palestinians seeking aid. Earlier this week, a group of United Nations experts called for the GHF to be disbanded, citing the high death toll. Al Jazeera is reporting another 4 Palestinians have starved to death in Gaza, bringing the death toll of starvation closer to 200. I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.